It's time to play the Battle of Hoth. Again. It's time to blow up the Death Star. Again. It's time to get a stronger game. Hopefully. EA and DICE's Star Wars Battlefront received mixed reactions when it first came out. While the game certainly felt like an impressive Star Wars game in terms of visuals and sound, there wasn't really too much to do outside of playing online. The game in general felt very bare bones when it initially launched. While various updates and DLCs eventually changed certain aspects of the game and added new content, the damage was already done. However, with Battlefront 2's official reveal arriving in a little over a week during Star Wars Celebration, DICE has a chance to fix the mistakes of the past. Until the reveal happens next week, it seems appropriate to have a wish list on what the new game should include. Here are some of the things that I feel EA Star Wars Battlefront 2 should focus on. Item number 1. A story mode or more single-player offerings. This is probably the most obvious addition that many people want, even John Boyega, and it's something that's sorta confirmed already. Battlefront's original single-player offering was essentially just a horde mode on multiple maps. The tutorials of the game offered cutscenes and they looked pretty good, but they were never really used to their maximum potential. To be honest, any kind of story will do. They can have missions that deal with certain events during the movies, or just create a brand new story. I'm trying very hard not to bring up Galactic Conquest from the original Battlefront games, but having another mode in EA's game so it's not solely a horde mode will add some much needed variety. Offline play, similar to instant action from the original games, was added in an update, but the modes were restricted to Fighter Squadron and Walker Assault. This is a step in the right direction, and if more online modes could be played offline, that would definitely be a welcome addition. Not everyone's going to have a constant or serviceable internet connection, so giving players options to play offline can give those people incentive to actually purchase the game. Item 2. More game modes that require massive team play and partner system changes. Unfortunately, the maximum player count for online play is 40 players, which is unusually less than the Battlefield games DICE is used to making. At launch, only 2 game modes reached this player count, Walker Assault and Supremacy. These 2 modes require plenty of team play and coordination, especially Walker Assault. However, there was no way to communicate through voice chat with other members of your team unless you were in a party with friends. In Battlefield games, you are put in a squad of 4 or 5, and you can at least speak to your party members, since having 32 players on your team yelling strategies or profanities all at once would just be terrible. Battlefront limited the squad size to 2 players, and there is no proper way to communicate, unless you get creative with emotes. The partner system does allow you to share your abilities with your partner and allow you to spawn on them, but there is no real way to leave your partner and choose another if you want, since more than likely everyone on the team is paired up with someone else, whether they like it or not. Increasing the squad size can help out with team synergy and offer more variety in the unit, since you have more variation in ability sets. To help with the team-based warfare, more modes similar to the DLC modes Battle Station and Infiltration are extremely welcome. Since asking for a seamless transition between space and land combat is a bit too much, having different sections take place in space or on land was a fun addition to the current game modes. People were able to take part in much requested space battles, though not as fulfilling to some. And once an objective was achieved, the battle would switch to boots-on-ground warfare. I love these multiple stages because it felt like you were progressing in a miniature story online. Doing well might reward the team with a new location and objective. These long fights are tense and are very fun, and I really hope we see more.
Weapons hot. This is Red 9, standing by.
Item 3. Including eras other than the Galactic Civil War. EA Star Wars Battlefront was a game that focused on the original trilogy, which means Rebels versus the Empire. Always. This also means that if the developers want to be as accurate as possible to the films, only a handful of worlds would be included at launch. Many online modes would be taking place in the exact same planet, even if the layout would be different. There's only so much Tatooine and Hoth that I can deal with. So what's an obvious solution? Simple, include the Clone Wars and maybe the new trilogy. Having the Droid army versus the Grand Army of the Republic on Geonosis or Naboo would look sick on Frostbite 3. If having the Clone War era factions is not possible, keep the planets. Just because certain planets were not shown in the original trilogy or in any other forms of media doesn't make them unusable. The only planet the Death Star has ever destroyed in the films is Alderaan, so it shouldn't be too hard to just grab other planets and have them a part of the Galactic Civil War. Hell, just make Alderaan a playable map just for the fun of it. If DICE is able to include multiple factions, multiple new heroes are definitely on the horizon, including some extra Force and lightsaber users, though not too many, such as Obi-Wan, Count Dooku, and General Grievous, would even the playing field a little bit in a game where there are many blaster users. Also, new factions would mean new vehicles, such as the ARC 170, Droid Starfighters, Republic gunships, and other forms of troop transports. Star Wars has an immense universe, and multiple forms of media to pull ideas from. Limiting themselves to just a cinematic universe might not be the best course of action, since there are plenty of ideas and fan-favorite vehicles and heroes that can be used to create unique Star Wars set pieces. And last but certainly not least, I want to see some new balance adjustments. Possibly my biggest gripe with the current Star Wars Battlefront is how the game was balanced. Throughout its life cycle, the online has been plagued with Boba Fett getting over 100 kills on Hoth, A-Wings being invincible, homing shocks being god weapons, and Bossk trapping rebel scum on the Death Star. Most of these have been fixed, but there are some issues that still remain, such as some spawning issues and some game modes making certain teams locked from progressing without an organized attack. For example, the whole Bossk trapping rebels on the Death Star thing isn't really an exaggeration. On the DLC game mode Battle Station, the rebels need to infiltrate the Death Star to rescue R2 in order to initiate a Death Star run. Each team has a chance to have 3 heroes in order to help attack or defend. Once the rebels activate R2, the spawns switch, and the rebels now spawn from some pretty narrow corridors until R2 moves to a checkpoint to move up the spawn point. This is where some chaos happens. When the spawns switch, if the Empire manages to shut down R2 shortly after the rebels activate it, the rebels might get massacred to no end, especially if Bossk is in play. Bossk can easily use his micro-grenade launcher, wiping out entire rebel teams at their own spawn point, while healing himself at the same time. While this is a very specific situation, some imbalances and frustrating situations persist if there is no coordination to get out of them. I understand that no game will be 100% balanced, and having some imbalances can help make a game a bit more chaotic and fun, which is what this game seemed to do. But there is a fine line between chaos and frustration. I don't mind powerful weapons if there's a way to get around them. I don't mind powerful strategies that can crush the opposition. What I do mind is when questionable map design is paired with these powerful strategies that seemingly crush the enemy with ease. Also, I wouldn't mind if hero tokens just disappeared altogether. Once a token is picked up, another will not be shown until a certain time limit has been reached, or if the hero dies. However, there are cases that one person might get killed before even using the hero token, forcing that token to become unavailable for a period of time, while you hear your allies being slaughtered by Vader. Giving the ability to become a hero to a random player on each team will at least balance the battle, even if the hero is a new player. Tokens can easily be camped, and some players might rush these instead of the uplinks that they should be protecting. I can understand that the developers wanted anyone to become a hero, by simply putting tokens out and whoever picks it up will get the chance to become that hero. However, there are many cases where you just won't have a hero on your team, so it'd probably be better if you just randomly select the person to become that hero, instead of potentially not having one at all for the entire battle. Battlefront 2 has a chance to return to the good graces of multiple gamers around the world. While the comparison to the original games over a decade ago are inevitable, Battlefront 2 has a chance to make itself truly unique if the developers take their time understanding what they did wrong before. I doubt we will see any gameplay footage at Celebration, but we might get an idea on what the developers have been working on, and maybe I can mark some things off my list.